Hey everybody, welcome back to CALLOUS Draft League and welcome to the playoffs. The first ever playoffs in our inaugural season of this tournament. So, 3 teams out of the 6 make the playoffs. The number 1 seed, the green team, has a bye and will be waiting in the finals. So we've got ourselves the orange team, the number 2 seed, against the purple team, the number 3 seed, in our semifinal matchup. The format here is 2 team drafts, 3v3, and 4 individual drafts. Now, of course, with it being 10v10, ties are possible. We will cross that bridge if and when we come to it. But for now, we've got ourselves a 1v1 draft, one of the 4 individual drafts, between DJArcticPirate, our player 1 on the left-hand side, representing the orange team, and Kenuckz, our player 2, on the right, representing the purple team. So strap in, these matches matter more than ever. It is playoff time, baby. Let's begin. First ban, Tyranitar. Nothing abnormal. Second ban, Metagross. Nothing abnormal. Third ban, Blissey. A little abnormal, not crazy. A mon that we've seen banned a handful of times. It isn't one of the more common bans. It has a low ban rate, but it's not ridiculous to ban Blissey. And again, there could be a lot of strategy that goes into that. No problem with that. Little bit unusual, but no problem with it. On the other side, this is a weird ban. In fact, I don't know that we've seen this ban in the first round at all. Registeel getting banned. That's interesting. Like I said, I don't know that we've seen that. So that's going to open up, let's see, it's going to leave Gengar, Lax, Celebi, Skarmory notably is going to get through here. I assume he's going to take one of those things. We'll see what he values. But DJArcticPirate with the first pick can only take one mon here. And of the litter, going to take Lax as his preference, which I'm okay with. Some people would take Skarm, some people would take B. I wouldn't necessarily fault either of those picks, but unlike the team format, where I think Lax is vastly overrated, Lax is very clearly one of the very best mons in this, and according to my own tier list, it is the most powerful Pokemon still remaining unbanned. So totally fine with the Lax pick. Very well might be what I would do in this situation as well, and we'll see how Kenuckz responds. Celebi, of course, which is arguably the most powerful thing remaining, and it's good against Lax. And he's going to take Starmie as well, which I really like Starmie. I think I like it more than most people. I rate that mon very highly, but the thing that sticks out to me as being weird here is not taking Skarmory, which may or may not be better than Starmie. They're close, it's debatable, but it's certainly better against the Snorlax on the other side, and it feels strange to pass that back. I would be shocked if DJArcticPirate did not take Skarmory here. So probably in Kenuck's seat there, I would have gone Celebi plus Skarm rather than Celebi plus Starmie. But Starmie's a great mon. It certainly doesn't offend me. I just don't know if, given the Lax, if that's what I would have personally done. But I don't hate the pick. So, of course, Skarm is going to get grabbed on the other side. It was never not going to get taken there. Question is, what do you take with it? And he decides on Gengar, which I think is perfectly acceptable here. It could have been Gengar, it could have been Milo, Mence, Arrow, Regice. There's a lot of powerful things still remaining. It's very early on, but can't go too far wrong with these picks. And also in taking the Gengar, you're protecting your Lax a little bit, making it less likely that it is forced to run Shadow Ball. So on the flip side here, we're going to see Aerodactyl and Milotic. Seems fine. Special walls are going to be contested in this, as is often the case, but even more so in this draft, with Registeel banned out. So Celebi and Lax are, of course, some of the premier ones. The question is, at what point do they start valuing Regice, because that is certainly the best one that's still available right now. And the answer is, right now, Zapdos and Regice are coming down. So a relatively straightforward opening round here. Nothing catching my eye is blatantly weird or blatantly wrong. Like I said, I probably would have taken the Skarm over the Starmie, but not like an egregious throw or egregiously blatantly incorrect or anything like that. The swing back from Kenuckz is going to be Salamence and Hariyama wrapping up the round for him. A lot of people do not take Hariyama in this opening round, but I'm a big fan of that Mon, and certainly with the Lax and the Regice on the other side, you are incentivized to take fighters a little bit earlier. Hariyama, arguably the best one. I think it is, but you could certainly make a valid argument for Metacham, which I think is a very powerful Mon as well. But regardless, with the Lax and the Regice on the other side, fighters are good. Now, granted, there's a fighting immunity in Gengar and a fighting resist in Zapdos, so it isn't perfect, but Hariyama has things like Knock Off against them, can learn whatever, HP Ghost, Rock Slide. It's not necessarily terrible against those things, and it can actually wall Gengar pretty good, especially if it opts for a Gut set. So, I think Yama's a good pick. Salamence, yeah, I mean, not insane in draft, but like not something that should be falling to like the middle of round 2 either. I think the Salamence hate is maybe a little bit out of hand. I mean, I think it is overrated. I think that the consensus of, there's just too many things that have Ice Beam, too many things that have T-Wave, too many things that mess it up, it's too specific, it needs too much support. I think there's validity to all of that, and I think Mence is not as good as people initially thought that it would be, but I think maybe it started to swing a little bit too far. People saying that it blows and that it's not even a top 15 Mon or stuff like that, that's a little bit too far, I think. Mence is good, it's just not as good as people thought that it was, and probably late round 1, which is what's happening right here, is roughly where it belongs. So DJArcticPirate makes what I would consider an unusual move here, to be sure. He is going to grab both Raikou and Jolteon, so he is obviously putting a pretty huge emphasis on the electrics. He has in fact gobbled up all 3 of the premier electrics in this opening round and completely cut his opponent out of those. And I mean, there's pretty obvious reasons why, right? We've got Starmie, Aerodactyl, Milotic on the other side, and then any of these electrics could have HP Ice to be difficult for the Mence as well. So I see where he's going with this. The question is how he follows it up, because when you go this hard down a certain rabbit hole, triple electric, very unusual, it's going to obviously distort the draft, and it's going to prompt very specific counters. I wonder now, are we going to see Steelix get banned out or picked very early? Are we going to see Camerupt get banned out? Just very specific niche things that generally are very strong counters into electrics. But the fact that he took triple electric here, super duper going to change the dynamic of the draft, and it's going to lead to some funky picks down the road. So the first ban is for Kenuckz, and it's interesting that he's going to ban this rather than try to take it. I don't know if this is the approach that I would take, but he's going to get rid of Fori. It could be that he's got the best spinner, probably, in Starmie, and therefore wants to cut his opponent off of spinners, but right now it's actually ArcticPirate who's got the one and only Spiker, whereas Kenuckz doesn't have one, so like it doesn't really matter right now if Pirate has spinners or not. But Kenuckz certainly wants spinners, given the Scarm on the other side, so to me it feels like Fori would be a better pick for him to take than to ban. So I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I think I might have tried to take the Fortress, and I probably would have banned out something else. On the flip side, Claydol here, which does make sense to me for Pirate. Not only is that obviously going to shut off the triple electric over here, but yeah, he's the Scarm drafter. His opponent is courteously removing spinners from the pool, and DJArcticPirate is happy to help him along with that. Sure, we can get rid of the spinners and let my Skarmory go nuts. Sounds good to me. So here comes the Swampert ban. Sure, I mean, again, you've got to wonder if he should have taken that. I mean, granted, these electrics can all have HP Grass, but like they can only have one hidden power, right? So if you just go in conjunction, if you take Swampert and Flygon, if you take Swampert and Camerupt, they can't have all of HP Grass, HP Ice, HP Water. They've got to pick and choose. So I don't inherently think Swampert is garbage into these electrics, because I don't think it's a given that they're just all going to have HP Grass, and you could certainly build in a certain way where they either all shouldn't have HP Grass, or even if they do have HP Grass, it isn't that good, because now you don't beat the other thing. So these are weird bans to me for Kenuckz, especially keeping in mind that he's going to get the first double pick after these bans. Fori in particular, but really both of them. I wonder if he should have banned something else and just tried to take these mons rather than banning them out. So we'll see where it goes from here. DJArcticPirate is going to remove Dugtrio. Don't really get that. There's, right now, literally just one Pokemon on his entire team, the Raikou, that cares about it. Everything else either doesn't care or beats it pretty comfortably 1v1, so not clear why he wants that Pokemon gone or why he's afraid of that poke. That is definitely not a ban that I agree with. To me, it would have been Steelix or Camerupt or something that really hoses these electrics, but the Dugtrio ban does not make a lot of sense to me. I'm going to go ahead and flatly say that I do not agree with that decision. Nevertheless, that is the decision that was made. So Kenuckz has the double pick, and he is going to go with Hera and Moltres. So, the Hera is fine. For me, it would have been Medicham. I think it's the better fighter, but I nevertheless philosophically agree with continuing to take fighters here. I still don't think there's much of a reason not to do that, so I'm fine with the Hera pick if he prefers that over Medicham, which, like I said, I do not, but close enough. The Moltres, however, I don't think I like. I mean, yes, there's a Regice on the other side, but it is threatened by all three of those electrics. It is good against Skarm and Regice, without a doubt, but it's not great against Gar. It's definitely not great against the electrics, and it's only okay against Lax, but Lax can run Thick Fat, Lax can have Refresh or Rest to get rid of Will-O-Wisp. I don't actually know that Moltres is as good in practice as it seems on paper against Lax. I think Lax often gets the better end of that matchup. Also, if you really are worried about it, Lax can learn Rock Slide. Don't see it very often, but it's a thing. So the Moltres pick doesn't excite me. Heracross pick is fine. I think Medicham is better, but it's fine. These picks don't blow me away. I definitely would rather have Fortress than either of these Pokemon, so I hearken back to not really agreeing with the bans of Kenuckz more than anything else. So, flipping it back, it's going to be for DJArcticPirate. He's going to grab Flygon as well as Vaporeon. So the Flygon pick makes a lot of sense to me. He's trying to protect his electrics by taking away all the viable things that resist or are immune to electric attacks. Flygon obviously qualifies. Is Flygon fantastic against the things that Kenuckz has picked so far? No, probably not, but it's still a viable poke, and like I said, huge protection pick given the fact that he has taken the triple electric. Like I said, the fact that triple electric was taken in the first round is going to lead to some weird picks. This is just a small taste of that. But like I said, think Steelix, think Camerupt, those kind of things I think should be in our future. The Vaporeon, probably simply the best bulky water still available given the fact that the opponent took both Starmie and Milotic. Some people like Slowbro better than Vaporeon. I personally generally don't, though Slowbro does have some obvious upside, such as better coverage and access to T-Wave, but overall, probably the better, sturdier Pokemon and the valuable wish support is the Vaporeon, in my opinion. On the flip side for Kenuckz, he's going to go with Miltank, my fave, and also Blaziken. I'm not seeing a specific reason to take Miltank here. The thick fat element is basically only covering the Regice right now, so that part doesn't seem as important. He might be running it just as Blissey Jr., which is fine, but I don't know that you need to take it here if you're taking it for that reason. I love me some Miltank. I'm always going to love me some Miltank. It's good. It's glue. It'll get played. But I don't see a specific reason to take it here given this matchup. And I also think it's not great into some things like Skarmory and Gengar on the other side. So, much as I love Miltank, that pick doesn't really excite me given where the draft is. Now, Blaziken I can get down with. That seems like a wonderful pick. Both the fighting element and the fire element of it seem very relevant here. And right now, it's really only the Vaporeon that can switch into it relatively safely. Every single other one of these mons on the other side very much threatened by Blaziken. So that pick, I like. Swing it back around. Both Weezing and Medicham are grabbed here. I think that's pretty wise. I think Medicham is just flat out one of the strongest pokes left remaining, regardless of what's on the other side. At some point, you just start taking power, and certainly Medicham qualifies as power. Weezing is a great pick. has both a defensive element in that he's protecting his own lax, but it's also genuinely good against a lot of the things on the other side. The Heracross obviously being a standout, but it's good against the Miltank, the Aerodactyl, the Hariyama, the Salamence as well. Really like the Wheezing pick here. A mon that I think is perpetually underrated. It's just so good at what it does. The things that it walls, it really, really, really walls, really shuts them off. And it plays such an important role on a lot of teams in a lot of matchups. I'm glad that it got scooped up here, and I think that that was a very valuable pick for DJArcticPirate. So coming back on the other side, better late than never, but I think these picks both make a ton of sense. This is much more what I think he should be doing, more so than like the Moltres or the Miltank. I definitely appreciate these picks. He's going to go with Houndoom, noting that he's loading up on fire attackers as well, and also Steelix. And these picks have a specific purpose, and I think they're both good. So the Houndoom, obviously, into the Gengar, and like I said already, the fire attacking type, pretty good given what's on the other side. And then the Steelix into the triple electric is a no-brainer. Also helps that it protects his arrow and his Salamence a little bit, but regardless of that, Steelix into triple electric, very much where you want to be. Apparently I hit my volume button. Oopsie daisy. Get it back to 80. So, it's going to be Venusaur and Kingdra wrapping up the round for DJArcticPirate. Again, Venusaur taking more good mons that resist electric, trying to protect his investment and keep those electrics as viable as possible. The Venusaur is actually not good into a number of things on the other side. The Aerodactyl, the Salamence, all the Fire Mons, the Heracross, etc. So it doesn't really excite me in the matchup, and it very well may not even get played. It very well may get benched. However, I can still absolutely support the pick because the Lax hates it and the Electrics hate it. So this very well may be a necessary evil to protect his own Mons, even if he doesn't end up playing it. So with that in mind, even though it isn't great into the lineup that Kenuckz has drafted, I still support the pick. Kingdra, always a mon that I support against Aerodactyl, as in general. There's not that many good special walls on the other side for Kenuckz, and there's a bunch of fire mons, which obviously Kingdra, with a double fire resistance and the stab water attacks, obviously Kingdra is a good pick against fire spam. So I really like both those picks for DJArcticPirate. They're for totally different reasons, but they both make sense. On the flip side for Kenuckz, gonna go Gardevoir, alright, and Articuno. I like both of these mons, but neither one is generally considered a round 2 mon, so I think this is very interesting, especially given some of the stuff that's still on the board. For example, Gyarados, Dragonite. Gyarados is a Pokemon that I really, really love and value very highly. Surprised that guy is still not picked or banned somewhere. But yeah, Gardevoir is going to get grabbed. Just a versatile threat that is dangerous to a lot of teams and sometimes very hard to switch into because it can have quite a few sets. I don't know that I like it better than, I mean, again, Gyarados, Dragonite, Cloyster, some of the very strong mons that are still available. But I like me some Gardevoir. I view it as closer to a round 3 pick than a round 2 pick, but it doesn't offend me. Articuno I like a lot, and he's already taken multiple things. Hariyama, Aerodactyl, all the fire mons that are dangerous to Articuno and gotten them out of the way. Special walls are pretty few and far between at this point, so Articuno is likely one of the most viable ones still available, and I think that's a good pick. Umbreon is also floating if he wants another potential threat to the Gengar, another special wall, but I definitely am down with Articuno. I think that mon has been very underrated in this format as a whole. That being said, I like Articuno much, much better with spikes. I think it performs way better when spikes are down, and currently he has 0 spikers and 0 way to do that, so we'll see if he addresses that at some point. So we move over to the third and final round of bans, starting with DJArcticPirate. He's going to remove Breloom. That might just be yet another lax protection pick. The Breloom as a whole doesn't necessarily blow me away against this lineup, but it does resist electric, even if it, generally speaking, lacks bulk, and it's good against the lax. So again, just thinking very specifically about protecting the things that he's got, perhaps that's a good pick just for that reason. Alakazam getting banned out. That's strange for Kenuckz. Again, I wonder if he should take that. I don't think I would mind if my opponent took Alakazam. I mean, you're the Houndoom drafter, but I guess there's only a 1 in 3 that those guys find their way against each other. But I mean, still, you could just take Umbreon. I don't know. Alakazam feels like a weird ban. I don't hate it. It's always a scary mon. I could totally see the desirability of getting it out of the way, but I mean, again, I wonder if Kenuckz could have found something more specific to ban rather than just taking the Alakazam out. I could take or leave that ban. It doesn't offend me, but it doesn't blow me away either. And then on the other side, what do you know? More protection. Regirock protecting his Lax, protecting his Zapdos, protecting his Regice. The bans all, other than the Dugtrio, all make sense to me for DJArcticPirate. And yeah, no qualms with the Regirock. It is very possibly the single best poke, that or Gyarados or Dragonite. Those are the top 3 probably, but one of the very best pokes still remaining without a doubt. And the ban for Kenuckz is going to be Cloyster. Additionally confusing to me, given that his opponent is the only one with a spiker, that he continues to ban out spinners. The bans all throughout for Kenuckz have been very, very strange to me. So we move over to DJArcticPirate to kick us off with the third and final round of drafting. He's going to do so like this. Dragonite and Porygon 2. Dragonite, certainly, alongside Gyarados, the most powerful mon still remaining in the pool, period. Great mon, awesome pick in round 3. It shouldn't make it this far. That was a big pickup. The Porygon 2 is protecting multiple of his mons, and I've noticed that DJArcticPirate has made multiple defensive-minded, protection-minded picks in this draft, which I think is wise, truly, especially if it's a good mon that you're going to play anyway. But Porygon 2 in this case, it would trace against Flygon and be effective. It would trace against Vaporeon and be effective. It would trace against Jolteon and be effective. Quite a few things that you don't want traced. And he's trying to get, quote, bulky waters here. So it's a 2-for-1. Porygon 2 makes plenty of sense. I like those picks from DJArcticPirate as well. On the flip side, it's going to be Jinx, the constant overperformer. And it's going to be Donphan as well. Jinx, honestly, at this point, should be closer to a round 2 pick than a round 3. It's always good value at this point, getting it in the 3rd round. That thing has a really high win rate in this format, so that was a really nice late pickup for Kenuckz, and I'm sure it'll be good, as it always seems to be. Finally, he does grab another spinner here in the form of the Donphan. I still don't know that I agree with banning out the Cloyster and the Fori, but at least if he's going to do that, at least he knows that he needs a spinner, at least he's trying to address it. So Donphan, probably the best spinner still remaining, might as well grab him, and it also happens to be electric immune, so it's good in that regard as well. I like the Donphan pick. DJArcticPirate, I don't know about this. He's going to go Lantern here, and he's also going to grab Glalie. The Glalie is just the best spiker still remaining, so that's a straightforward pick. The Lantern is a bit of a head-scratcher, but again, when you look at it closer, he's just really, really committed to protecting those electrics. Furthermore, the Lantern would be good against Skarm, would be good against Vaporeon, potentially with Ice Beam could be good against Dragonite, etc. So the pick is weird initially, and I don't really think Lantern is that good, and I don't know that he's going to play it, but again, he just has such a defensive-minded approach to this particular draft, and it very well may work, and Kenuckz is not seemingly interested in some of the things that I recommended. Like I said, Camerupt comes to mind, but not a poke on his radar seemingly, and between not liking certain pokes that I think you should grab and Pirate gobbling up things like Venusaur, things like Lantern, things like Claydol, he's really doing a lot to protect his electrics here, and I don't really see the fantastic answers on the other side. There's a little piece here or there, but I don't know that Kenuckz overall in this draft has done enough to address the face-up there from round 1 triple electric threat that DJArcticPirate is trying to pose here. On the flip side, it's going to be Misdreavus to protect spikes that he doesn't have, and Ludicolo. Not sure what the Misdreavus is doing. It might, I mean, it's a ghost, so maybe it just pesters the Lax in that regard, but Mischievous without spikes does not excite me whatsoever. Not a pick that I think changes things in too dramatic of a way here. It has like decent base special defense. It's vaguely okay against the Electrics, but it's not great by any means. And I don't know what it does back to them other than like fling Toxic at them or something. Not into the Mischievous pick. It and Articuno really want spikes, but there's just not many good spikers left. You could pick Smeargle or something, but I don't know. That ship has kind of sailed, and he kind of shot himself in the foot banning the Fori and the Cloyster. I think those are really going to come back to bite him. The Ludicolo is fine. It doesn't actually resist electric. It takes it neutrally, so like meh on that. He does need a special wall, and I guess that's one of the better options available. I think Umbreon and Hypno are worth a look, but Ludicolo is at least okay, even if it's not a poke that's ever excited me. It also Leech Seeds against the Lax, but it's really not great at, on the turn that you Leech Seed, taking the Body Slam, +1 Body Slam, whatever. Not fantastic at that, but yeah, kind of sort of special wall, kind of sort of Leech Seed user. Seems okay, but it doesn't excite me. DJArcticPirate is going to add his third spiker here. Not a good spiker, but spikes are spikes. Quillfish is not a mon that I rate very highly, but it is at least playable, and it's probably the best spiker remaining unless you're a Smeargle guy, which in this format I'm really not, but I guess it's an option. I don't know if the Quillfish is ultimately going to get played or not, but if the plan is to have spikes on all three teams, well, success. You've got that. Though his opponent does have two spinners at the moment and does still have a couple more picks to make if he wants to add a third. Sableye is one of the two playable ghosts remaining alongside Dusclops, and he's going to pick that probably with the same mindset as many of these other picks, and that it is not only playing a role on his team, but it is largely a protection pick, as it is pretty good against Snorlax, and that will no longer be an option for his opponent. So Kenuckz is going to go with Tauros and Sceptile, two fast, aggressive threats that are generally pretty easy to slap on a team and get more than 0 value out of, but I have the exact same qualm with the Sceptile that I have with the Articuno and with the Mischievous. They're good, but they're much better with spikes that he simply does not have, and it's his fault, by and large, that he doesn't have them. On the flip side, Cradily, which I recently learned does not have Leech Seed in this generation, so I think this mon blows. And also Machamp. But yeah, I mean, broken record with the Cradily pick. I don't think he intends to play it, but it resists electric and it resists normal, so he is once again protecting his Lax and his electrics. The Machamp is fine. He's got a couple picks that I think he took just for protection purposes, like the Lantern and the Cradily, that I don't think he's going to actually play. So ultimately, he's going to have to actually play some of these later picks. And the Machamp is probably going to find a spot on a team somewhere. It has synergy with the Electrics. It has synergy with T-Wave. It has synergy with things that can make the opponent not hit as hard. Will-O-Wisp on Gar. Will-O-Wisp potentially on Weezing. I don't think the Machamp is going to be amazing, but I do think, because like I said, I don't think he's going to play the Cradily or the Lantern, for example. So I do think the Machamp will probably get played, and I don't think it'll be fantastic, but I don't think it'll be awful either. Perfectly usable mon, and it's the last pick. They're not all going to be bangers. And finally, the last pick overall of the draft for Kenuckz, a very late Charizard, which is obviously a good mon and obviously very good value to be getting it this late in the draft. He is very much loaded up. Moltres, Blaziken, Houndoom, and Charizard on the Fire Mons. The Fire Mon called Arcanine, which I'm a big fan of, never did get picked in this draft. And bafflingly, Gyarados, completely unpicked and unbanned. That can't possibly be right. But that was not picked in this draft either. Very strange. So as far as predictions, I'm definitely going to go with DJArcticPirate here. I don't think that Kenuckz drafted all that well. Now, granted, in my observation watching the games, I think Kenuckz might be. I don't know. I didn't watch closely enough, but just my inclination from what I did watch, I think Kenuckz might be a better player than DJArcticPirate. And obviously play skill matters in this, but I definitely think that DJArcticPirate had the better draft. I think that Kenuckz made weird bans. I don't agree with the Fori or the Cloister or the Swampert ban. I don't like any of those. I think that he missed multiple opportunities to properly address the electrics. Again, I have no clue why Camerupt wasn't taken, but I think it definitely should have been. I think that not taking Arcanine was a missed opportunity. I think Gyarados going undrafted, that goes for both players, was egregiously wrong. Certainly more so for Arctic Pirate. I can get why Kenuckz wouldn't want to take it into Triple Electric, though I would note that it is not nearly as bad into that as you might think that it is, because they can't switch in safely. You can T-Wave them, or you can DD and then threaten all of them immediately. So I don't actually think Gyarados is awful into the Triple Electric, but certainly DJArcticPirate at very least should have taken the Gyarados. I can't believe that Mon went undrafted. You guys, not just these two players, you guys in general, this whole damn community, you way the hell underrate Gyarados in draft. It's really, really good, and I've had people that I'm drafting on behalf of pick it over and over again in Emerald Open and similar formats, and it's always good. But mini Gyarados rant aside, I definitely give the edge with the draft to DJArcticPirate. Like I said, Kenuckz had a million opportunities to address that Triple Electric. They were all face up in the first round, and I don't feel like Kenuckz ever did it. I feel like he just kind of threw together a bunch of decent and playable Mons, but really lacks cohesion. Never picked up a Spiker, banned Spikers when he shouldn't have, didn't take picks like Camerupt or things that really hose the electrics. Kenuckz just has a collection of Mons that are decent, of Mons that are playable, but I don't see the cohesion. I don't know why he never wanted a Spiker. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me, like I said, 0 spikes for Kenuckz, and did not go hard enough to address the electrics or the lax, frankly. There's a little bit over there. There's like the Steelix for the lax. There's a couple Leech Seeders. Maybe Donphan can have like Roar and counter. I mean, there's not stone cold nothing, but I definitely think he could have done more. And certainly with the electrics, I think he could have done more. So overall, I don't think Kenuckz drafted that well. I didn't like his bans, and some of the picks were a little bit questionable for me. I don't think his draft is dog shit either, but I don't think it's good. I think it's well below the average of the tournament. Definitely going to give the advantage unless Kenuckz is a vastly superior player and can just outplay him. But I am definitely going to give the advantage in the draft to DJArcticPirate, and I will predict his victory. But you guys can let me know, and I'm not sure about the length of these videos. I tried to make this one a little bit snappier. I did ask in the feedback survey, which all of you who participated in this tournament should take, what you thought about the length of these videos, and usually the response so far is either just right or they're a little long, so I tried to make this one a little bit shorter. Don't know if I succeeded or not. But either way, I appreciate you guys watching, and you will have coverage of every single playoff draft and every single playoff game. So let's see who's going to win this damn tournament, starting with who gets through to the finals between orange and purple. Thank you for watching. Lots more to come. Appreciate it.